So hey guys, today we're going to be talking about another legacy card. So today we're talking about Tantrum Toddler. So Tantrum Toddler actually has a somewhat interesting effect. Once per chain, if a card or effect activation is negated, except during the damage step, you can attach up to one card each from your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard to this card as material. This card gains effects based on the number of materials attached to it. 1 plus gains 700 attack/defense for each material attached to it. 4 plus cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then the final effect here, you can detach 4 materials from this card, destroy all cards on the field. So this card has quite some interesting effects. So first off, this effect here is once per chain. If a card or effect activation is negated. So this can be utilized for a lot of different little things with Tantrum Toddler. So the first interesting thing about Tantrum Toddler is if I were to actually have, let's say, 4 negates, so maybe just an Appaloosa, I guess, in this case. If I had an Appaloosa, I would be able to get to 8 materials. And that would be not very hard to do. The other thing is, this is one of the best ways to deal with certain cards in the graveyard. Being able to detach, this doesn't target. Keep that in mind. So you just attach any 2 cards, essentially. Well, not any 2 cards, it's one from your opponent and one from yourself onto the Tantrum Toddler. And of course, if we do so, then our opponent would be in, I guess we'd say, a little bit of a pickle. So there are some good targets we have for Tantrum Toddler. So notably, this can attach any card, just any card at all. So what is stopping us from attaching, let's say, Entis 3 times? So that whenever Tantrum Toddler is outed, or perhaps whenever we activate the effect over here to destroy all cards on the field, just also pair that with 3 Entis destroy effects. I guess the downside to this is you would have had to send Entis like 3 times before doing this, but uh, yeah, you could keep cycling Entis over and over again. And then even after you applied this destruction effect, if you were able to apply the first effect again, we'll attach Entis, but again. So that is technically a thing you could kinda do, which is kinda neat, I suppose. And there are different things that trigger when they're sent to the graveyard. You can kind of abuse those cards as well. Well, as long as they don't like kind of get banished and whatnot. So pretty cool, I'd say. So one thing I guess you could send, which I think would be a little bit interesting, is we could send uh, a Destiny hero. So specifically the one I'm looking for is Dasher. Once per turn, that effect is not important. Other effect. Okay, once while this card is in your graveyard, when you draw a monster during your draw phase, you can reveal it, special summon it. This card must be in the graveyard to activate and to resolve this effect. So we could technically use Dasher multiple times with Toddler, just for example. But alright, focusing back on Toddler itself. This notably right here, it doesn't mention who is negating, so it could be your opponent's negating or you're negating yourself. So I'm not 100% sure on this next ruling, but okay, what if, for example, we are able to resolve something like what we'll say Metaltronus. So Metaltronus, well, the effect that we care about for Metaltronus in this case will be this right here. Special summon one monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck that has 2 or more of the same type, attribute, and or attack, but negate its effects. And if you do negate that targeted monster effects, also after that, if these monsters have the same name, you can banish both face down. So with Metaltronus, if we go ahead and were to special summon, we're going to go with this. Light and darkness, I guess, should work. If not, there are some other targets, I suppose. So let's see. Must be fusion summoned. Hmm. Well, that's a predicament. This cannot be special summoned. Well, another predicament. So we need something that can activate on essentially every single chain that will it'll be negated though. So, or just an effect that we can activate over and over again that doesn't end up doing anything, but it isn't once per turn. So some effect like that doesn't really matter too much what it is. But anyway, the important thing here is that we're activating a card and it's already negated. So once per chain, if a card or effect activation is negated, does that count or no? Because the card is negated, the effect is not directly being negated. Does that still count for triggering this effect? No idea here. So if we were to want to loop this, I can think of okay way to do this. So Tantrum Toddler says that it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects if it has 4+ material. So what if we set up a let's say a small loop. So we have the setup with Nightmare Cerberus, Popologic Bomber Dragon, and also the Trickstar card here. Uh, I believe it was like Trickstar Cat Bat, which is not an SR. Okay. Black Cat Bat, this one. So we're going to assume Black Cat Bat is going to be negated, and we're just going to consistently keep summoning the well, what's it called? Samsara Lotus. So we just keep summoning this over and over again in the end phase. And then Tantrum Toddler, will it be able to activate here in this case continually? I mean, there's the downside that technically I suppose your opponent needs to have cards in the graveyard to activate this effect, but assuming for whatever reason we mill our opponent's entire deck, could we not also attach the entirety of our opponent's deck to the Tantrum Toddler this way? Which I mean is functionally not very useful, but if you could technically do it, would be interesting. And this actually gives you a reason to somewhat annoyingly activate your kind of negated cards. So this doesn't have to be a card on the field either. So if, for example, we have, let's say, well, real quick, checking the typing on Tantrum Toddler. Okay, the typing is fine. If we have Quakimeru Doom on the field and we're just activating a danger over and over again. So the effect of Quakimeru Doom states that it will negate the effects of light and dark monsters that activate during the main phase. So if we were to activate a non-hard once per turn danger, right? So in this case, let's say, I don't know, Thunderbird. Sure, why not? We activate Thunderbird effect in hand. Nothing happens, but it gets negated. Does that allow us to activate Tantrum Toddler's effect to attach or not? Not 100% sure, but we'll just go forward with the assumption that it does. So if we do this, we could technically attach the entirety of, well, whatever is in the graveyard up to a certain point, right? Maybe one player has more cards than the other in the graveyard. That would allow you to get like a kind of Ghetto Zeus, which is kind of neat. If this works, that would be interesting. I believe you gain these effects afterwards, but I don't know what it says exactly. A Wind Xyz monster that was summoned using this card on the field gains this effect. Okay. Doesn't one of these give you targeting protection? Opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Okay, that doesn't work. So, how can we make Tantrum Toddler even more annoying to deal with? I can't really think of anything as of exactly right now, but Even if you don't go take this to the extreme, if we were against like a tier limit, we could be a little bit better off. So we can take the tier limit cards and attach them to the Toddler. And the Toddler here does not detach for effect. Yeah, you can detach for cost. So even if we detach for cost here, yeah, this is not detaching for effect. So it wouldn't trigger their tier cards anyways. And we could attach tier limit cards to just stop stuff from happening, I guess, with the tier cards, which is kinda neat, I suppose, to an extent. I'm not 100% sure when this would be the most applicable, but pretty interesting card overall. And it's not like too bad to make, it's just 2 level 1 monsters, which I think is somewhat reasonable to do. If we can make the Tantrum Toddler stronger, I'd be interested in doing that. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.